Become the person who attracts success. There's a voice inside you, a whisper that speaks in the darkness of doubt. Can you hear it? It says, "You are meant for more." This voice, this knowing, is the first spark of a fire that will transform your existence. What separates those who merely dream from those who capture those dreams in the palm of their hand? Why do some people magnetize success while others repel it? The answer isn't luck. It isn't privilege. It isn't even intelligence. The answer is something far more powerful. It's who you become. Success isn't something you chase. It's something you attract by the person you become. Look around you. The world is filled with opportunities disguised as obstacles. While others see walls, the successful see doorways. While others see endings, the successful see beginnings. This isn't coincidence. This is the product of an internal reality that shapes your external world. What if I told you that right now, in this moment, you are standing at the threshold of transformation, that the gap between where you are and where you're meant to can be crossed not through external searching but through internal becoming? Dale Carnegie understood this truth nearly a century ago when he wrote, "Most of the important things in the world have been accomplished by people who have kept on trying when there seemed to be no hope at all." The landscape has changed, but the principles remain timeless. The modern world demands modern application, but the foundations of human achievement remain unshakable. When Henry Ford envisioned an automobile for the common man, the world scoffed. When Walt Disney dreamed of a place where imagination could roam free, financial advisors called him delusional. When Steve Jobs visualized technology as an extension of human creativity, experts labeled him a dreamer. What separated these visionaries from the masses wasn't just their ideas. It was who they became in pursuit of those ideas. They became people who attracted success. Your transformation begins not with what you do, but with how you think. The mind is the architect of your reality. Every thought lays a brick. Every belief builds a structure. What are you constructing with your inner dialogue? Most people live in mental prisons of their own design. Their thoughts are the bars. Their beliefs are the walls. Their fears are the guards. Breaking free requires more than desire. It requires redesigning your internal architecture. Consider this. The average person has 60,000 thoughts per day, and 80% of those thoughts are negative. That's 48,000 daily instances of self-sabotage. Is it any wonder success feels elusive? You cannot harvest abundance from seeds of lack. You cannot reap confidence from fields of doubt. The first step in becoming someone who attracts success is ruthlessly eliminating thoughts that don't serve your highest vision. When negative thoughts arise, and they will, don't fight them. Observe them. Name them. Then consciously replace them with thoughts aligned with your destination, not your history. This isn't positive thinking, it's strategic thinking. It's not about denying reality, it's about creating reality. Abraham Lincoln once said, "People are about as happy as they make up their minds to be." The same principle applies to success. You are as successful as you decide to be, not through wishful thinking, but through the hard work of mental reformation. Your beliefs are prophecies waiting to be fulfilled. What do you truly believe about yourself? Not what you say, not what you hope, but what you believe in the marrow of your bones. The subconscious mind doesn't distinguish between truth and fiction. It only knows what you feed it repeatedly. Every time you say, "I can't," "It's too hard," or "People like me don't succeed," you're programming failure into your operating system. Becoming the person who attracts success means reprogramming these limiting beliefs with unwavering conviction. It means saying, "I can," until your doubts surrender. It means affirming I will until possibility becomes inevitability. When Thomas Edison was asked about his 10,000 failed attempts at creating the light bulb, he said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." This isn't semantic gymnastics. It's a fundamental shift in belief structure that transforms failure from an identity to a data point. The successful aren't immune to failure. They're simply immune to being defined by it. Your clarity determines your destiny. In a world of endless distraction, those who maintain crystal clear vision become lighthouses in the fog. They don't drift. They navigate with purpose. Ask yourself, if you could design your ideal life without limitation, what would it look like? Don't censor yourself. Don't rationalize. Don't compromise before you've even begun. See it in vivid detail. Feel the emotions it evokes. Make it so real you could step into it. This isn't daydreaming. This is architectural planning for the life you're building. Napoleon Hill, after studying the world's most successful people for over 20 years, concluded, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. But conception requires clarity. You cannot build what you cannot envision." When Oprah Winfrey rose from poverty to become one of the most influential people in the world, she didn't stumble into success. She saw it before it existed. When Elon Musk revolutionized multiple industries, he didn't drift into innovation. He moved with clarity toward specific futures he could see while they were still invisible to others. Becoming someone who attracts success means developing such powerful clarity that the gap between vision and reality becomes merely a matter of time. Your purpose is the engine that powers persistence. When obstacles arise, and they will, purpose separates those who surrender from those who surge forward. Purpose transforms hard work into heart work. It makes the unbearable bearable, the impossible possible. Consider Viktor Frankl, who survived the unspeakable horrors of Nazi concentration camps. In his book, Man's Search for Meaning, he wrote, "Those who have a why to live for can bear almost any how. This truth transcends context. From the darkest circumstances to everyday challenges, purpose provides the power to persevere." What moves you? What makes you come alive? What problem were you born to solve? These aren't philosophical musings. They're practical questions that reveal your unique contribution. Your purpose isn't something you invent. It's something you discover. It's the intersection of your talents, your passions, and the world's needs. When you operate from this intersection, you don't have to chase success. It begins to chase you. Discipline is the bridge between vision and accomplishment. Without it, even the most brilliant ideas and noble intentions wither on the vine of inconsistency. The person who attracts success understands that motivation is fleeting, but discipline is enduring. They don't rely on feeling inspired. They commit to showing up regardless of emotional weather. They recognize that what you do consistently, no matter how small, overshadows what you do occasionally, no matter how impressive. Consider the compound effect of daily discipline. If you improve by just 1% each day, after 1 year you'll be 37 times better than when you started. This isn't theory. It's mathematics. The power of small, consistent actions isn't immediately visible, but it's undeniably transformative. When Olympic athletes train, they don't practice until they get it right. They practice until they can't get it wrong. This level of discipline isn't punishment. It's freedom. It liberates you from the tyranny of momentary impulse and creates the structure in which greatness can flourish. Becoming someone who attracts success means embracing discipline, not as a burden, but as a tool that carves extraordinary outcomes. From ordinary days, action transforms knowing into becoming. You can understand every principle of success intellectually, but without implementation, knowledge remains potential energy, stored but unexpressed. The world doesn't reward those who know the way. It rewards those who go the way. It doesn't celebrate those who understand. It celebrates those who undertake. Information without application is like having a map but never taking the journey. Consider this. At this moment, thousands of people are reading books about success. Thousands are attending seminars. Thousands are consuming motivational content. But only a fraction will translate that information into actual change. The difference isn't knowledge, it's action. When Jeff Bezos left his stable job to start Amazon, he called it a regret minimization framework. He projected himself to age 80 and asked which he would regret more, trying and failing or never trying at all. This clarity led to action that transformed not just his life, but entire industries. Becoming someone who attracts success means developing a bias toward action. It means understanding that imperfect action trumps perfect planning. It means recognizing that the path becomes clear, not before you step, but as you step. The quality of your life is determined by the quality of your questions. Most people ask disempowering questions. Why me? What if I fail? Who am I to succeed? These questions program the mind to seek limitations rather than opportunities. The person who attracts success asks different questions. How can I? What if I succeed? Why not me? These questions direct the mind toward solutions rather than problems, possibilities rather than obstacles. When faced with setbacks, average people ask, why did this happen to me? Successful people ask, what can this teach me? This shift transforms obstacles from punishments into pathways, from burdens into benefits. Gratitude isn't just a virtue, it's a strategy. It's impossible to feel grateful and deprived simultaneously, just as it's impossible to feel abundant and lacking in the same moment. The person who attracts success practices gratitude not as a platitude, but as a deliberate mental positioning. When you're grateful for what you have, you position yourself to receive more, not through mystical forces, but through psychological orientation. Gratitude trains your mind to see abundance rather than scarcity, possibilities rather than problems. It creates a perceptual environment in which opportunities become visible. Consider this practice. Before seeking more, count what you already possess. Before lamenting what went wrong, acknowledge what went right. Before focusing on distance left to travel, celebrate distance already covered. This isn't about settling. It's about establishing an emotional foundation from which to reach higher. The most successful people aren't necessarily the most talented or privileged. They're often the most appreciative of the talents and privileges they do possess. Becoming someone who attracts success means cultivating gratitude as a daily discipline, a lens through which you view both achievements and adversities. Adaptability determines survivability. In a world changing at unprecedented speed, rigid thinking leads to certain obsolescence. The person who attracts success views change not as a threat, but as an invitation to evolve. When Blockbuster declined, Netflix's offer to be acquired for $50 million, they demonstrated the danger of resistance to adaptation. Today, Netflix is worth billions, and Blockbuster exists only in memory and memes. The difference wasn't resources, it was responsiveness. To changing landscapes, Charles Darwin observed, "It is not the strongest species that survive, nor the most intelligent, but the ones most responsive to change." This principle applies equally to business, careers, and personal development. Becoming someone who attracts success means developing improvisational intelligence, the ability to release outdated methods, embrace emerging opportunities, and thrive amid uncertainty. Resilience is the ultimate competitive advantage. It's not about avoiding falls. It's about mastering the art of rising. The person who attracts success isn't distinguished by an absence of failure, but by a relationship with failure that transforms. stumbling blocks into stepping stones. When J.K. Rowling faced rejection from 12 publishers before Harry Potter was accepted, she wasn't deterred. She was determined. When Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team, he didn't abandon his dream. He amplified his effort. Their resilience wasn't despite adversity. It was because of adversity. Consider the Japanese art of kintsugi. Where broken, pottery is repaired with gold, creating pieces more valuable after breaking them before. This isn't just art, it's philosophy. It's understanding that wounds can become wisdom, breaks can become beauty, setbacks can become setups. Becoming someone who attracts success means developing such profound resilience that challenges become catalysts rather than catastrophes. Continuous learning is the antidote to limitation. The person who attracts success views education not as a phase of life, but as a way of life. They recognize that what got them here won't get them there. And what works today may not work tomorrow. Warren Buffett, one of the history's most successful investors, still dedicates 80% of his day to reading. When asked about his secret to success, he points to the stacks of books and reports he consumes daily. His wealth isn't accidental. It's the compound interest on continuous learning. The most dangerous words in any language are, "I already know that." The moment you believe you've arrived at complete understanding is the moment growth begins to stagnate. Expertise is valuable, but curiosity is invaluable. Becoming someone who attracts success means maintaining a beginner's mindset, even as you develop mastery. It means approaching each day as a student rather than a graduate, each challenge as an opportunity to expand, rather than confirm what you know. Your environment shapes you more than you shape your environment. The person who attracts success curates their surroundings with intentionality, understanding that proximity is power. They recognize that you will inevitably become a composite of the 5 people you spend the most time with. When Andrew Carnegie, one of history's wealthiest industrialists, was asked about the secret to his success, he pointed to the team he had assembled, saying, "I owe whatever success I have attained to my practice of taking the best men I could find and pushing them to the front." This principle extends beyond professional relationships. The books you read, the conversations you have, the media you consume, all form the ecosystem that either nurtures or hinders your becoming. Becoming someone who attracts success means having the courage to prune toxic influences and the wisdom to cultivate enriching ones. It means creating an environment where growth is the path of least resistance. The greatest power you possess is the power to choose, not just external choices, what to do, where to go, what to say, but internal choices, what to believe, how to respond, who to become. Every moment presents this choice. Every challenge offers this opportunity. Every setback provides this gift. You can choose limitation or liberation. You can choose fear or faith. You can choose to be defined by your past or to be driven by your vision. This isn't motivational rhetoric. It's metaphysical reality. The quality of your choices determines the quality of your becoming, and the quality of your becoming determines the quality of what you attract. When Nelson Mandela emerged from 27 years of imprisonment, he chose forgiveness over bitterness, unity over division. This choice didn't just transform his life, it transformed a nation. Your choices may not change countries, but they will absolutely change your world. Becoming someone who attracts success means making choices aligned with your highest vision, rather than your immediate comfort. It means choosing growth even when it's difficult, truth even when it's uncomfortable, action even when it's frightening. The path of transformation isn't linear. It spirals, sometimes bringing you back to familiar challenges, but with new wisdom. This journey isn't about arriving at a destination. It's about evolving through the process. You will stumble. You will doubt. You will face resistance, both external and internal. This isn't failure. This is friction creating the heat that forges new strength. This isn't departure from the path. This is the path itself. What separates those who merely start this journey from those who complete it isn't freedom from obstacles. It's perseverance through obstacles. It's continuing when continuation seems impossible. It's believing when belief seems irrational. It's becoming when becoming seems beyond reach. Remember, success isn't something you pursue. It's something you attract by the person you become. And becoming isn't an event. It's a continuous choice made moment by moment, day by day, challenge by challenge. The voice that whispered, "You are meant for more," wasn't deceiving you. It was inviting you to the most important work you'll ever do, the work of becoming. So I ask you now, who will you choose to become? What vision will guide your choices? What purpose will fuel your persistence? What legacy will your becoming create? The answers to these questions don't just determine your success. They determine your significance. They don't just shape your achievements. They shape your impact. The world doesn't need more people chasing success. The world needs more people becoming the kind of individuals who naturally attract it. People whose inner light is so bright that it illuminates paths for others. People whose inner strength is so developed that it elevates those around them. You have everything you need to begin this transformation. Not tomorrow. Not when conditions are perfect. Not when doubts disappear. Now. In this moment. With this breath. Become the person who attracts success, not just to your life, but through your life. Become the person whose very existence expands what's possible for others. Become the person who transforms obstacles into opportunities not just for yourself, but for all you touch. This is your invitation. This is your capability. This is your destiny, if you choose it. The choice, as always, is yours.